Good evening, returning for our Wednesday as well as Thursday. From there, we are going to be tracking our next round of some rain on Friday. Thankfully, not as cold of a rain as what we are dealing with for this evening on our way on Friday, as we're going to be tracking some warmer temperatures going through the weekend. So that's some of what we're going to be touching on. Thanks, as always, for tuning into this edition of Nate at 8. Let's jump into it. And of course, not only the story of dealing with some rain, but just how cold the rain is for this evening. Our temperatures in the 30s, but still far enough in the 30s that are keeping our precipitation type as rain. And as temperatures continue to drop off a bit more as we progress throughout the night, by the time we get a transition to more of a wintry precipitation, this precipitation is going to be tapering off. So that'll be later on tonight as we get past that midnight mark that this rain tapers off. And then shortly after that, temperatures are falling lower 30s. It's a gradual drop in temperatures as we go through the night. But by the time we settle further in the 30s by tomorrow morning, again, is when dry conditions will likely return. And Futurecast is illustrating this well. There's a look at the first half here tonight. 10 o'clock, still dealing with the rain present for us. Midnight starts to become more scattered, but still some showers around. And then notice what happens getting closer to about 2 o'clock in the morning. After midnight, there is our rain coming to an end as temperatures are settling mid to lower 30s going into tomorrow morning. Cold start to your Wednesday, but likely a little bit warmer end with respect to today. Highs topping off near that 50-degree mark. And as you can see, a return, thankfully, of at least a little bit of sunshine for your Wednesday. Highs closer to 50 degrees. And of course, not only a little bit of sunshine returning, but some dry conditions as well. From there, we do see our skies turn cloudy going into Thursday. And despite dealing with cloudy skies Thursday, not anticipating any precipitation, just a lot of cloud cover, pretty dreary Thursday. But again, anticipated to stay dry. High temperatures still topping off even just in the 50s, may even add a degree or two to those afternoon highs with respect to what we do see for Wednesday into Thursday, despite dealing with a lot of cloud cover. And again, Friday will mark our return then of some rain, and that will yield, of course, some more cloudy, dreary conditions, but wet conditions as well Friday. It's milder, though. Temperatures are climbing, likely even further in the 50s on Friday. And we're not getting that cold rain repeating Friday. It's warmer, but yes, we'll have some rain around. Another dreary, wet day likely ahead for the end of the work week. By Saturday, the rain quickly tapers off. I think there's a chance for the daytime Saturday we actually end up dry. If we do get that shower lingering, it's the very early morning hours. So most, possibly all of the daytime on Saturday is ending up dry, and then Sunday looking dry as well. Saturday, what we're really going to notice is more of a decrease in cloud cover throughout the day. So some sun breaks out later on in the day, a lot more sunshine likely Sunday with some dry conditions. That being said, as we go through the weekend, really the one day to watch for some rain would likely be for our Friday with the return of some rain. Outside of that, fairly dry days. Again, I think most, if not all, the Saturdays dry, looking dry the next 2 days and looking dry on Sunday. Temperatures will pick up. Today struggling to get in the 40s, but we are actually even closer to 50 Wednesday, and then adding, slowly but surely climbing even in the upper 50s going into Friday. A little bit of a cool down, but still lower 50s for this weekend. So overall, it's a pretty mild stretch, especially once we get past tomorrow. But even with respect to today, tomorrow still like a little warmer. So the rest of this week does look warmer with respect to today, and even getting back to some more mild conditions by the end of this week. This weekend with those high temperatures back into the 50s, and not anticipating much of a wind tomorrow, just a light wind. So not anticipating much of a chill to the air. And once we get past that, shouldn't deal with much of a chill to the air either Thursday, Friday, or into the weekend with those high temperatures into the 50s. Like I mentioned, some sunshine returning tomorrow, and then it's pretty dreary Thursday and Friday. But I do think we see more sunshine this weekend. I think really, honestly, this weekend shaping up to be really nice. So if you want to make some outdoor plans this weekend, I think it's certainly good to do so. Dealing with mix of sun and clouds, likely more even on the sun side of that equation, dry conditions, highs in the 50s, really not a bad weekend ahead. Really nice. We're getting our kind of dreary, wet conditions out of the way Thursday, Friday before we get back to some dry conditions and brighter conditions as the the weekend rolls around. As we do take a sneak peek into next week, it's in sight. You maybe have some questions what we can expect around Thanksgiving. It is in sight. And in fact, it does look like our next round of some precipitation is in line with that middle to latter part of next week. So once we get past Friday, it looks dry this weekend. It looks dry early next week, but around next Wednesday and Thursday for Thanksgiving is when we can have some showers return. And it is looking likely to get a cool down going around that same time period. So we'll be watching because we can see a pretty cold air mass move into the area into that following weekend. So we can get a shot of some pretty cold air coming our way. It's still well on the horizon when it comes to forecasting, looking at 9, 10 plus days out. It's early, right? Things can still be adjusted and changed as we get closer to it, but we are watching. We can't have a sharp drop in temperatures around that time, Thanksgiving, and especially into that following weekend. And you'll see that forecasted, reflected some there with the drop from Thursday, Thanksgiving into Black Friday. But we'll watch. We can get one of those situations where we get a shot of some pretty cold air around that time period. So that is something we're watching for now. And yes, that does mean that as we see temperatures drop off, with some showers in the equation, that we can even have some snow showers in the mix as well. So it is something worth watching for. As it stands now, a lot of that precipitation next Wednesday and for Thanksgiving on Thursday, a lot of it does look to stay as just rain, but we'll keep an eye on things even into that following weekend. It's even further out, but some of our longer range models even hinting at potential for some snow showers even into that stretch, some rain and snow possible into that stretch. So it's something we'll keep an eye on. It's certainly something worth monitoring. That it looks like a cool down could be upon us into that time frame of Thanksgiving into that following weekend. And yes, both rain and snow could be in the mix as well. So certainly going to be something we're going to keep an eye on. Joe, good evening to you. Thank you as always for tuning in. And Austin, thank you as always for tuning in as well. Austin saying this weekend was crazy. Saturday night was crazy with rain, wind, lightning, and thunder. Sunday and Monday were chilly. The rain was coming down hard this evening, Austin saying. And Austin joining us from south of I-70, where we saw a lot of that rain concentrated for more locations south of I-70 even earlier on today, now becoming more widespread across the area here early on tonight. And yeah, certainly worth mentioning this past weekend, dealing with some thunderstorms in the mix and a rare, not for our area, Eastern Ohio, the Northern Panhandle, but just to our east, Greene County and to Western or Southwestern PA, right on our neighbors, right? Really, just the east of the Northern Panhandle, a rare November tornado warning. So yeah, that was certainly a sight to see. Even getting some of those thunderstorms developing, especially into the overnight hours this time of the year, is not common, but a tornado warning certainly is rare. And we saw that again, not for us, but not too far from us into Greene County, PA, was that tornado warning that same night. I think it was even overnight. So yeah, that was certainly a rare sight for us to see for this time of the year. Shelly, thank you. Thank you as always for tuning in. You are very welcome. Thank you so much. Joe, very welcome. Thank you, all of you, as always, for tuning in. Austin says, excited for the Main Street Wheeling Christmas Parade. And yes, that'll be exciting as well, Austin. Excited for that. We'll have some, I won't be myself, I'll be back here doing the news, but I know some fellow news Niners, if you will, will be down there enjoying the parade. I remember it was I believe my first year, it was a part of that here. When I first started, it was back in 2019, I believe I did the Wheeling Parade. Always something magical. I believe that year as well, if I remember correctly, there was a little some flurries in the mix. So quite always magical. What a great parade they have in Wheeling, certainly. And a lot of these Christmas parades, outside of that, I remember doing that my first year, but these past several years have been St. Clairsville, Wintersville, Caddis, a lot of the Steubenville, a lot of community Christmas parades have been able to be a part of, and all amazing. They all amazing to be a part of. Excited for upcoming Christmas parades, and you'll spot a lot of us here at News 9 on those Christmas parades coming up. So it's certainly exciting, and those colder temperatures we had here as of recent, it's I don't know. Maybe getting us into a little more of the upcoming season, the Christmas spirit, if you will. We're getting it's crazy. It's almost December, right? It's almost Christmas season. Some of you may already have the Christmas decorations up, and some of these colder days that it certainly has felt like more of the upcoming season. And yeah, it's hard to believe that look at us, we're almost a week away from Thanksgiving. So, I mean, some of us look more to right after Thanksgiving as Christmas season. So it's almost upon us. Yeah, I mean, it really almost is, if not already Christmas season. So it's crazy. It's upon us already, isn't it? Elizabeth, hello. Says Nate, hello there, Elizabeth. Thank you for tuning in, all of you, as always, to this edition of Nate at 8, getting past some cold rain here early on tonight. Again, we'll watch for this tapering off after that midnight mark, closer to about 2 o'clock in the morning. So well in time for tomorrow morning's commute. Not dealing with any rain tomorrow morning. A lot of us stay above that freezing mark, but it'll be mid-lower 30s. There can be some more isolated locations that actually dip to 32 degrees, but a lot of us mid-lower 30s, staying just above that freezing mark is where most of us will end up likely tomorrow morning. That should really curb any potential for this, water lingering on these roads from refreezing. I think if it's a case, it's going to be more isolated, but I think a lot of us avoid that as temperatures are just above that threshold for tomorrow morning, getting the cold rain out of the way. And then we're looking for some dry conditions Wednesday as well as Thursday. A lot of cloud cover Thursday. We'll soak up at least a little bit of sunshine for Wednesday. Friday's our next round of some showers. It looks like, honestly, just like today, where the concentration of those little higher rainfall amounts Friday could very well be south of I-70 as well. So the more rain could be more of a southerly trend. So something we'll keep an eye on Friday. It does look like some models are trending a lot of the bulk of rain with that system could be in general south of us, but you could get a situation like today where rainfall totals are a little higher south of I-70 with respect to north of I-70 on Friday again. Saturday and into Sunday, then dry conditions, more sunshine breaks out, highs in the 50s, really a pleasant weekend before we head into Thanksgiving week. And then the following weekend could be a different story. So I do anticipate that weekend after Thanksgiving to be colder than with respect to this coming weekend. So maybe it's a situation where if you like to put Christmas lights up outside for, maybe you like to have them up right after Thanksgiving and you wait until the weekend after Thanksgiving, I would say, I think it's a pretty good idea to put him up this weekend. Again, I think next weekend it's going to be colder. And again, I think we could even have some rain, snow in the mix. So just that being said, it might not be a bad idea to get them up this weekend when temperatures are still in the 50s and you're not going out and dealing with the cold that we can have for that following weekend. Just a word of advice. I think that this coming weekend is going to be better for that if you typically are putting them up right after Thanksgiving for that following weekend. If you have the opportunity, I think this weekend's going to be much better conditions. So just some advice I would give as we look ahead into next Thursday, Friday, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, we'll watch. We could have some rain and even I think some snow in the mix, even in that following weekend, something we're keeping an eye on. Certainly, the one thing that is more certain is the cool down. So I do think, we're dealing with a shot of cold air into the following weekend. The potential for rain and snow is a little more up in the air, but I think there's certainly at least some cold air coming in right after Thanksgiving going into the following weekend and marking what has, really been a highlight there. That beginning of December could end up cold. And I've got an interesting statistic coming up for you next Thursday on Thanksgiving for our winter special. So if you've been wondering how we are thinking of the upcoming winter, we're diving into that with our half-hour winter forecast special, and I have some interesting statistics on that first week of December, because there's an interesting correlation that how the first week of December can be a overall bit of a preview for how the rest of the winter can shape up to be. It's pretty strong correlation over the past 30 years. It's interesting. Also diving in, of course, to white Christmas chances. Also have another statistic on that, how it shapes up to be with a overall cold December, and how it shapes up in overall past history as well. Brian Ivy breaks that down for you. So a lot of interesting stuff. So definitely make sure to stay tuned for that. I think that's a little over a week away at this point as well for our winter forecast special. All right, well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll have the latest coming up, News 9 at 10 on Fox 9, News 9 tonight at 11 for the latest as we start to track the last of that rain here overnight. And of course, the next edition of Nate at 8 as well. Tomorrow evening, we'll further break down that rain coming our way on Friday. I'll let you know where we stand with the latest on that. And of course, continuing as we extend to later next week, continuing to keep an eye on that Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and in general, that following weekend forecast as we do look ahead. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful night. I'll see all of you on the next edition of Nate at 8.